Hey everybody, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really appreciate it. Welcome and welcome back, perhaps. I just want to say thank you so much if you tuned into my first video. I kind of did that on a whim and the people who watched it seemed to really enjoy it. And so I'm here for another installment. Little background information. I actually went to the 1989 Secret Session in Rhode Island. The anniversary just came up and it was 8 years ago, which is mind-blowing. And I don't want to get existential, but, you know, time is a construct and life is meaningless. But anyway, so I wanted to answer some questions. I realized after I recorded the whole video that I didn't really do an intro. So you're going to see a time travel here. There was also a question that I got a little bit after I filmed, so I'm going to intersperse that in there. But anyway, I just wanted to come and say thank you so much for being here, and I hope you enjoy the video, and let's get right into it. I figured that the best way to do this would be to open up the floor and have you guys send in some questions. I could sit here and just do a stream of consciousness where I kind of lose my mind, but I don't think that would be that fun for anybody. And this way you get to know exactly what you want to know. It dawned on me that if you're not like super deep in the Taylor Swift fandom, you might have no idea what this even is or how someone could wind up at Taylor Swift's house. It's a valid question. The good, the bad, the ugly. Secret Sessions, let's talk about them. You sent in actually a lot more than I was anticipating, which is a good thing. So thank you for doing that. And let's just answer them. So the first question, and I put this first because we got to set the scene. It was really two questions, but I put them into one. It's what exactly is a secret session and how do you find out about these things? So the secret sessions are basically an album listening party that's top secret and they take place in Taylor Swift's house. They started with 1989. That was the first album she ever did them for. A lot of people were under the impression that it was sort of like a concert. Like when I said she played us the album, they thought that I meant she actually performed it, which she didn't. It was a listening party. She had it queued up on her phone. It was her personal iPhone. She plugged it into a speaker and we sat there and we jammed.
I got this idea before I finished the album and I wanted to call it the 1989 Secret Sessions, because I knew before I finished the album that I was most proud of this album more than anything I'd done before. And so I wanted to give fans a chance to hear it before it came out, like a month before it came out. And I'd never done this before, but I wanted it to be all fans who had never met me before and had been like, I've been to 7 shows, I've never met you, I camped out on the street, I waited outside, I never saw you, whatever. Like I wanted it to be these people who've been so dedicated, but I've never gotten to thank them in person.
And then the question was, how do you find out about these things? So at this point, for Taylor Swift fans, basically everyone knows what they are, I would say. For 1989, since these were the first secret sessions, that first group had no idea what was going on. They were just given an address, they had their hopes and their dreams, and they showed up. They took a leap of faith because it could have wound up in like a big human trafficking thing, but luckily it didn't. I mean, think of this. You could be like an 18-year-old girl who gets a phone call and they were like, are you a fan of Taylor Swift? Come to this address. And you show up in a parking lot, you get on a bus and they just drive you somewhere and you're just hoping and praying that like this is legit. Luckily, everybody showed up at Taylor Swift's house, but like, you just never know. The 1989 secret session that I went to, which was in Rhode Island, that was actually the last one that they did. So by the time that I got my invite, I knew what they were. I kind of knew that that's what I was going to, even though they didn't state it like that. The next question is, how did you find out you were chosen for the secret session? So I knew that these were happening by this point, and I really wanted to go. Like I really wanted to go. Obviously, everybody wanted to go. But it was one of those things that you just think, that would be so cool. Obviously, it's not going to happen, but that would be so fucking cool. I remember texting my friend Julie and I was like telling her all about it. I was like, Taylor Swift's having these listening parties in her house and she baked them cookies and shit. And she was like, that could be you. And I was like, fuck off, bitch. And she was like, that could be you. I was like, no. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not going to be. But then I manifested. I just kind of, just kidding. But I pulled all my intention in. I made a mood board. Just kidding. But no, I really got my Alexis Nyers on and I manifested the shit out of it. But I was like, don't think about it. Just go about your life. So I remember it was a Thursday. I went to all my classes and I remember getting home kind of late and I was standing in my kitchen. I was at my parents' house and my phone rang and I did not recognize the number. And normally if that happens, I throw my phone out the window. I would never, ever answer a phone call. I would sooner rather be kidnapped than answer my phone. I swear to God. On this day, I looked down and I was like, you should answer that. I think there's a part of me that knew, like, what if? Like, there was a part of me that was like, what if this was Taylor Swift related? You should answer the fucking phone. And like, what's worst case scenario? It's a telemarketer. And I just hang up. So I answered the phone. There was a woman's voice on the other end. She was like, is this Kyle? I was like, yes. And she was like, this is whoever from TaylorSwift.com. And I just wanted to tell you kind of like about this secret event that's going on. And we were wondering, are you going to be in the Providence, Rhode Island area on Saturday, October 4th? And I was like, I'm not sure. Like, I just was panicking. And then I was like, holy shit. I was like, I think so. I don't see why not. Like, yeah, I think so. Anyway. So she's like, there's a top secret event that we wanted to invite you to. You can't tell anybody. You can tell your parents. And that's it. Don't tell any friends. Don't tell anyone that you know. Don't go online and post about that. If you do, you will be uninvited. And I was like, I wouldn't tell a soul. I wouldn't tell a soul. And I didn't. So she was like, okay, well, if you can be there. I'm sure there was other details, but honestly, at that point, I was like pretty much blacked out. But she was like, go to this address at this time. There's a password, and here it is. And she said the password, which was purple daffodils. I don't know why. I have no idea why. And I could not understand her. Like 100% could not understand what the fuck she was saying. And I was like, I'm sorry, would you mind repeating that? I'm writing this down. I got a fucking pen. I was like, could you repeat that? She's like, purple daffodils. I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, what was that? Just one more time. And she was like, purple daffodils. I was like, I'm not getting it. So she had to spell it. And I was like, oh, purple daffodils. It was probably one of the worst moments of my life. Fun fact, never gave that password. Straight up, never gave anyone that password. Maybe someone did. I didn't. Whatever. And then she was like, are you excited? And I was like, yes, I am. They're probably used to people like screaming and crying and throwing the phone and shit. I just really internalize this. When I'm very excited or like there's something big going on, I'm not necessarily that outward with it. I kind of internalize it and I'm like, holy shit. So I was like, yes, I'm excited. And then she was like, are you a big Taylor Swift fan? And I was like, I'm the biggest fan I know. Which was, whatever. That's what I said. Then, just as an aside, I hung up that phone. And I went upstairs and I was just pacing. Couldn't say a word. I could not get anything out. I told my dad, I was like, you got to sit down. He was like, okay. And I just made him sit down and I just paced back and forth in the room, not saying anything. And I was like, are we busy? I was just like voice shaking. I was like, are we busy Saturday? As if like, even if he said yes, it wouldn't have mattered. No matter what it was, I wasn't going to whatever I could have been busy with. Why did I think that I was going to be busy with my parents on a Saturday night? No shade, but like that wasn't a common occurrence. But it was just one of those things where I was like, well, I'm probably going out of town. I probably have a vacation booked that I forgot about. Like I was just coming up with anything. I was like, this can't be real. This can't be real. So then he was like, I have not even said a word besides that. And he's just like, why, are you meeting Taylor Swift? And I was like, yeah. Dave was on the fucking money. Anyway, then my mom came home and then I had to sit her down. I was like, I'm going to Taylor Swift's house. And she was like, okay. So the second part of the question, what was the process like for getting into her house? And then just the thing about NDAs and other documents, the meeting point, the bus. So I'll start with the meeting point. A lot of the other secret sessions had you meet at some random location miles away, and then they drove you to her house. Our meeting point for the Rhode Island secret session was basically her house. It turns out it was a beach parking lot that she basically neighbors. It's a stone's throw away. So for us, even though we got shuttled in, it was a 15-second shuttle ride. We knew where we were going. You know what I mean? And I think we were supposed to be there for 4 p.m. I got there like 3:57. I was like the last fucking car in. I was like, okay, I was just following the rules, but you guys do you. And then it took forever. It was raining. Things got held up. But me and a group of people it was our time. We went into a little hut where if you were going to the beach, you would pay to park in that lot. They took our cell phone and anything like that. They put it in a bag. They put our name on it. And they were like, we're taking this. You can't talk to anybody ever again. One of the people from Taylor Nation was like, here, you guys have to sign this. Here you go. She was like, it's just your standard NDA. Don't even worry about it. And I was like, okay. Basically signed my life away. Didn't read it. But honestly closed my eyes and was like, okay, whatever you say. I was just like, get me in this house. They were like, basically, this is secret. This is a secret session. So when you leave here, you can't go and tell everyone every single thing that you heard. We are going to be scouring the internet, looking and making sure that you guys don't post any details about the album. You can talk about the overall experience and you can say that you liked things, but you can't give any specific details about the songs, anything that you hear. And then, yeah, so in terms of a bus, we didn't get a bus. I think that a lot of the other secret sessions, they were like in a coach bus and they were driven around for a while. We had little tiny vans, which came from the University of Rhode Island. And we got on those and literally we left the parking lot, we took a left, the gates opened, and we went into her driveway. The gates opening to Taylor Swift's driveway and driving onto it, I cannot explain what that was like. I know it sounds kind of ridiculous, but like that was the moment you were like, this is happening. So then we get out of the shuttle. We're there. We're in her driveway. They had like those nice porta potties set up. And I was like, people were using them before they went in. I was like, you guys are going into Taylor Swift's house. Take a shit in Taylor Swift's house. What are you doing in the driveway? Do not do it out here. Are you joking? So we're standing there, her head of security's there, and he's like, all right, guys, and he gives us the rundown. He's like, basically, you guys are all here because you're not weird on the internet. And I think everyone was kind of just like looking around like, I think that might not be true. I don't know if that's actually that accurate. But I was like, if they say it, well, I guess I'm not weird on the internet. He was like, like, this is her house. These are her things. Like, like, be respectful like you'd be going into anybody's house, all that kind of stuff. And then they did another metal detector check. Then we went in through her garage. We went up the stairs and we were in Taylor Swift's house. The next question is, how much security was there? To be honest, I didn't notice that much. But I also was not looking for it. It wasn't like they were all dressed up as like police officers and patrolling around and shit. Like I knew what her head of security looked like. He was there the whole time and they had people, but I didn't notice like this overabundance of security when we were inside the house. So I got kind of 3 questions about the food. What kind of food did she serve? Did she feed you guys snacks? Did she offer snacks or drinks? There was food there. It's a great question what it was because I didn't eat it. I couldn't eat. I was nervous. You know what I mean? Like this was a big deal. My stomach was in knots. I was excited, but I had nerves for sure. So I just wasn't that hungry. I do remember there was chicken nuggets. Everyone was like talking about the chicken nuggets, maybe some tacos, some pizza. I'm kind of just throwing things out there. I didn't eat, but I know that there was food. There was a whole spread. And then in terms of drinks, there was no alcoholic beverages, which is bullshit. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. There were children there, but there was Diet Coke and all that and water, I think. I don't even know if I drank anything. I definitely had a Diet Coke. That sounds right. Next question was, what was the bathroom soap selection? I know that this is going to sound bad, like all I'm saying is I don't remember, but I actually don't remember what the soap was like. But let's talk about the bathrooms, because I got a story about it. The bathroom that I used was like this small little, it was a half bath. It was in her main entrance, and it looked like part of the closets. There were closets on either side, and then all of a sudden, like this one just had a door and it was a bathroom. And I was like, holy shit, I would have never known that this was a bathroom. It was really small. We're in Taylor Swift's house. You're in here one time. You get one shot at being inside Taylor Swift's house. I'm not coming back, okay? So I wanted to take in every single thing that I possibly could, including bathrooms. So I went to that bathroom. I used it. It was great. There was another bathroom that other people were using. There were like 2 bathrooms that we could use. And I was like, well, I need to go see the next bathroom. Everyone was talking about it. They were like, this bathroom slaps. And I was like, well, I need to go to that bathroom. So later on in the night, when people are meeting Taylor one by one, I was like, I need to go to the bathroom. Is that okay? I didn't even have to go. I was just like, I need to go to the bathroom. I had just talked to someone who went and they were like, I went to the far bathroom. And I was like, well, I want to go there. So I was like, can I go to the bathroom? Would you mind? And they were like, no problem. And then they brought me around to the same fucking bathroom. I just went in there and I stood there and I was like, all right. I wasn't trying to be weird. I was like literally just trying to see the rooms that I could. Even if it wasn't Taylor Swift, I do the same fucking thing. This house is incredible. I want to see it. I want to be in every room. One question is, please describe the aesthetic of her home. I got another one that is, what is Taylor's home decor like? What did her house look like? So the aesthetic of the Rhode Island home, I would describe it as like vintage, coastal, seaside mansion, which I know that kind of sounds like, yeah, fucking obviously, but that's exactly the only way I could categorize this house. It's obviously this huge, sprawling white mansion up on this hill that overlooks the ocean. And when you're there, you really feel like you're kind of in a New England coastal home. A lot of the rooms had big windows. Everywhere you looked, you had an ocean view. You're surrounded by ocean and a big, beautiful lighthouse. In terms of decoration, I would say it definitely had Taylor Swift's style. A lot of like coral and old books. She had big trunks. And on the trunks, they had like stacks of like letters and She definitely just went to like an old vintage store and pointed shit out, and all of that wound up there. The couches were huge and cozy. There's lanterns, and the TV stand kind of looked like an easel. There's a piano there, which I played a little. I tickled the ivories just to be like, I tickled those ivories. Just to be like, I played Taylor Swift's piano. And she wrote songs on that thing, you know what I'm saying? Oh, it's time to be real. Well, I can't. I'm being real with you. Very cozy, very comfy, warm, inviting, New England, coastal, vintage. That's the way I would describe the aesthetic. There are so many questions on what did the house smell like. It smelled fucking good. I can tell you that much. Everyone likened it to Anthropologie. Everyone's like, it smells like Anthropologie in here. I've never been to Anthropologie. I've been to Anthropologie one time in my life. I stand corrected. And yeah, I guess it smelled like that. It smelled like the Blue Volcano candle and like Santal, whatever the fuck. I don't know. Everyone's like, oh my God, Taylor smells so fucking good. I don't have the strongest sense of smell. So like, honestly, that question kind of pisses me off. No, it smelled good. I can tell you that. I can tell you that it smelled good. Did you see any Grammys displayed? Were you able to touch them? So there were Grammys there. The only Grammy that I saw, I believe, was for Safe and Sound. That's one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs. So it was kind of cool to see that. I did not touch them, but I know that people did when they took pictures. Some people held a Grammy when they took a picture with her. But I didn't touch any Grammys, but I did see one of them. The next question is, any personal photos and frames? Was it homey? It was definitely very homey. It didn't feel stale or like you couldn't touch anything, or like it felt lived in the best way possible. There were pictures everywhere. Huge framed pictures of her as a kid, her and her bandmates. There were a lot of pictures of the beach, the surrounding area, Watch Hill, the house. One of the coolest things I noticed that was framed was when I was coming up the stairs when we were first getting into the house. The first thing I saw was handwritten lyrics to We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, and those were framed on the wall there, which I thought was really cool. The next question is, what rooms did you get to check out while you were in our house? And I got this question a bunch, actually. What room did you gather in? Did you get to explore the house at all? We weren't free to just explore the entire house. You were kept sort of in a specific area. But within that area, you were free to explore those rooms. There were basically like 3 main rooms that you could really go into. One you could kind of peek into, but you weren't supposed to go in. We were also allowed to go out on her patio at one point, which was kind of cool. The main room that we gathered in was her living room. It's huge. Obviously, we all fit in it. And that's where we did the listening party and everything. Next to that, there's a room with a bar, and there's the staircase that leads upstairs. And there was a pool table there as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you can sort of see this area. There's this horrendous, awful video of Nick Jonas dancing, and they're going like, fuck it up, fuck it. I have nightmares about it every single night. I woke up even just last night in a cold sweat thinking of this Nick Jonas video. But anyway, you can sort of see that area in the bar.
Hey, fuck it up. Fuck it up. Back it up.
There's a mirror there in the background. That was the mirror that I checked my hair in before I went into the other room to meet her. When I was there, I took in every detail that I possibly could. Everyone was there kind of like mingling, which I was like, I'm not here to fucking make friends. I am here to take in this moment and this experience. So while a bunch of Swifties were like in a circle singing 22, I was like going in the corner, just like looking around. The next question is, how many other fans were there? So there were a lot of us. The rumor is, or not the rumor, but they told us that there were 89 fans specifically handpicked for 1989. I think that's probably relatively true. But yeah, I would say there were about 89 fans chosen. And if you were under 18, you could bring a parent or a guardian. This question is, what was going through your head when Taylor Swift first walked through that door? Holy fuck. To be honest, my mind just went fucking blank. So when we were all sitting there, we were like packed into this living room, like sardines. Were just sitting there, and she came in from behind us, and she was like, "Hey guys!"
Hey guys!
And everyone turned, and I just remember being like, "Holy shit, it's happening!" Talk about your overall experience at the listening portion of the secret session. Sure. Eventually, it was time to go in. So I was one of the last people to go. By the time that I was getting into the living room, everyone was seated. They were all sitting down, and I was like, where the fuck is this? I'm not petite. I'm not small. And I'm like, where am I gonna go? And so I was like, ma'am? I was like, where should I sort of sit? And they were like, how about right there? And they like pointed in the middle of the crowd of fans. And I was like, okay, sure. And me trying to like tiptoe my way, just like, doo-doo-doo, so that I can now have to sit crisscross fucking applesauce in the middle of her living room when there's just no room for that to be done. Somehow I managed to pretzel my way down in here. It is not comfortable. I'm just not having a good time. But anyway, we're here. It doesn't matter. I'm not here to be comfortable. I'm here to meet the world's biggest fucking star. She comes down. She comes in from behind us. She's like, hey, guys. We're like, oh, fuck. Everyone starts screaming. She comes in. There's a chair that's kind of set up. It's like a big chair. Table, speaker, whole nine. So she sits down, she plugs her phone in, and she plays us the first half of the album. We listen to each song. She talks about what the songs mean to her, what she was going through in her life, the songwriting process. We sit there, we listen. She like dances around, she sings along to it. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's really into it. People are like freaking out over lines. People are freaking out over little details. After we got halfway through the album, we took a little bit of a break. She brought out desserts. This was my first interaction with Taylor Swift. So there's actually this moment you can see in the background of the 1989 Secret Sessions video where I'm just taking a huge deep breath, like trying not to shit my pants. I look so scared. That was just like my mindset throughout this entire fucking thing. And so that happened. And then because I was so uncomfortable during the first half, I was like really kind of shoehorned in there. I was like, listen, I'm going to meet Taylor Swift. I don't need to be that close during the second half of this album. I'm going to hang back. So after she gave us desserts, she went upstairs. She kind of disappeared for a second. She was actually just getting the cat. But I decided to hang back. There was a seat in the back and I just sat on the floor and I leaned against it. And she came down with the cat on her arm and she was like, so I thought for the second half, I would switch things around a little bit and I would sit back here. And it was the chair that I was sitting and leaning against. And I was like, holy fuck. Damn. Okay. So I just spun. I just sat there and I just pivoted around. I was like, shh. And I was just, hey, she was right about, hey. And so we went through the second half of the album there and I was basically sitting at her feet 2 inches away, just having the time of my life. When she played How You Get the Girl, like we kind of had a moment. She like sang it to me and I was like, it was whatever. She saved Shake It Off for last because we had all known it. So she didn't play that one in order. So she played Shake It Off. Everybody got up. She was like, now I want to dance. And we're like, woo! And we all got up and awkwardly danced to Shake It Off. I was just sort of like bouncing. It was honestly top one worst moment of my life. I was having the worst time, just like love the song, just was not comfortable. Then when that was over, they kind of shuffled everyone back into the rooms that we were in originally and then just started hanging out until it was our time to meet Taylor. So this next question is, what kind of cookies did she bake for you all and were they good? Be honest. So she did bake for us. One of the things at all the secret sessions was like Taylor baked something and brought it out. So she came out with a plate of Rice Krispies, and there were also cookies that were going around. So if my memory serves me correctly, she didn't bake the cookies, but she baked the Rice Krispie treats for us. And so she was kind of walking around. So I didn't have a cookie, but I had the Rice Krispie treat, and it was very good. 100% really good. I'm not lying. Girl can bake. Tasty ass Rice Krispie treat. I promise. Did you see her cats? So here's a story about the cats. I saw one cat. Meredith was there, but she did not come down. Taylor was like, Meredith does not do that well with people. I think Meredith might have attacked a fan. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if that's true. I might have just started a rumor, but she did bring down Olivia. And at this point in the night, I was right next to Taylor Swift. And she put the cat and she handed it to the girl who was sitting directly next to me. And she was holding it and I was right next to her. And I'm one of those people, I don't know this girl. And, you know, even though other people are doing it, I'm like, I'm sitting right next to her. She's going to hand the cat over to me and I'm going to be able to pet the cat and go on with my life. I'm not a big cat person, just to let you know. But obviously it's Taylor Swift's cats. I want to fucking pet one. What I should have done is just reached over and just pet. It would have been fine. But in my mind, I was like, I'm just going to wait my turn. Taylor's going to see that I'm polite and I wait my turn and she's going to pass me this fucking cat. But eventually the cat was like, I'm fucking out of here. I do think maybe the cat could have been passed a little bit quicker. I do think maybe Olivia could have been passed a little bit fucking quicker. But at the end of the day, whatever. Cat got up, bounced, and I never reached over and pet it. Did I see the cat? Yes. Was I 6 inches away from the cat? Yes. Did I get a pet in? No. In addition to the questions about how the house smelled, I got an insane amount of questions about what Taylor smelled like. She smelled good. Floral. She smelled good and floral. Maybe like a little vanilla in there too. She smelled really good. This question is good. Were the other Taylor fans annoying? Yeah. To put it plainly, yes. Not everyone was annoying. And also, if you're going to be annoying, I understand. There were some really cool, really chill people there. I'm just one of those people who I'm just there, I'm just taking it in and I'm having a fucking ball. Other people are not like that, and that's okay. Everyone's different. I thought it was a little annoying when everyone got together and just started singing. I mean, maybe I'm just like an asshole, but I was just like, this is what you guys want to do. Like, you're in a group of strangers and you want to stand in a circle and just sing Taylor's song so that she hears you upstairs. I mean, if that's what you want to do, then do it. But I did not partake in that. One thing that is a problem in the Taylor Swift fandom is that people really want Taylor's attention, which I get, but they will stop at nothing to make sure that they get it, including just not shutting the fuck up. So I understand she says something and we want to engage, and she says something funny, we want to laugh. I get it. And every emotion's a little bit heightened when you're in Taylor Swift's house and you're having this moment. But it's one of those things where she could be like, today and everyone's like, it's like, well, no. I mean, she hasn't even really said anything funny yet. And she's like, this song I wrote with, everyone's like, oh. I was like, well, just go. She hasn't even gotten the name out. She hasn't even gotten the fucking name out. It is what it is. I just sat there and I just ate my fucking cereal and I just had the greatest time of my life. But yeah, there were some annoying ones. I'm not trying to call anyone out, but like, I remember this one instance. It was at the very beginning. And she was like, I wrote this song with Ryan Tedder. And this kid up front was like, I love him. I was just like, okay. But then Taylor was like, oh, me too. And then they had a moment. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I get why people do it. They get these moments with Taylor Swift. But for me kind of sitting in the crowd, I'm just like, shut up. Which song that she played did you initially love more than others? I can answer this question. It's probably my favorite song on 1989. It hit me right away that night. And I was like, I can't wait to listen to it. And it just has not stopped hitting since. 8 years later, I'm still like, this song is that fucking good. But the song is All You Had to Do Was Stay. This song is, to me, just like one of the most perfect pop songs. It just hits, but it's not like over the top or too upbeat. Like, it's just exactly where it needs to be. And I remember she was playing it and I was really into it. And I looked to my right and like down in like this other room, I could kind of see in this like little doorway, one of the people from Taylor Nation was like doing something. They were bending down, they were getting something. And I noticed they were singing along to the chorus. And I saw that and I was just like, this is a bop. I was like, and everybody knows it. It was just like seeing her sing along to it and being like, I'm going to be able to sing along to this song soon. I was just like, I fucking love this song. How long was the whole session in general? It was pretty long. So I got into her house, I would say around 6:30. And like I said, I was a little bit later and we didn't have our phones on us, so we couldn't check the time. But when I left and I got my phone back and I checked, it was like 12:30 a.m. So I would say I was there for about 6 hours. So the next question, which I kind of answered, is did you have to sign anything that prevents you from talking about any of the songs? If not, did you get any cool insider info about any of the songs in 1989? So yeah, I mean, we definitely did. We didn't get anything like super juicy, or I know at the Reputation secret sessions, like I think she laid it on them. For us, like it definitely felt more like anything that you could hear in an interview or if she ever sat down, but you were getting it on a first-hand basis and she was taking her time really describing every song and the thought process that went into it and what she was going through in her life that made her write it. I would say that I guess like one of the more interesting tidbits was I guess just her talking about Bad Blood. She didn't name Katy Perry. She didn't say any names, but she was like, you know, it was someone who I really considered a close friend. But like every time I talked to them, I would walk away from that conversation being like, was that a joke? Or did she just say like the most insulting thing I've ever heard in my life? So like hearing her kind of just like open up and talk about that situation was kind of interesting, and just getting like an insight into her songwriting process and into what inspired these songs was very cool, and I'm very appreciative for that experience. What were the consequences if you had broken your NDA? Probably blacklisted. They're not going to come and like sue a little Swiftie because they like posted some shit online, but like you definitely didn't want to do it. And again, I don't actually know. People definitely broke it though. Like I remember people posting stuff on Tumblr that they definitely shouldn't have posted. And then I'm pretty sure they were murdered. This question is, did you get a goodie bag? We did get a goodie bag. After you met Taylor, when you left, they handed you a little bag and they were like, peace. And it was just, it was like a tote bag with 1989 on it. And inside was a tank top that said, play is gonna play or something. I still have it. I'm pretty sure it was like a youth extra small. No fucking word of a lie. Wasn't gonna fit. But I kept it because, you know, it was part of the package. The main thing that they gave us was a keychain that had the 1989 album cover, and then on the back engraved, it had 1989 Secret Sessions, Providence, Rhode Island. even though we were not in Providence, but I digress. Do you keep in touch with people from the secret session? So I do. I keep in touch with some of them. What's weird about the 1989 secret sessions was there were a lot of people I never saw before and I never saw again. It was a kind of an interesting mix of people because generally speaking, people who got chosen were pretty active online. So there were some people who just kind of like pieced and just like went out in the night and never came back. But there were some people that I started following afterwards and, you know, we keep in touch. There were some people in my group. Shout out to Amanda. Still talk to her. You sort of see people at concerts. You follow people on Twitter. They follow you. So yeah, this question is rank your fave and least fave Swifties. Well, I don't think I can do that because I think it would not be good for me. I definitely have some faves. I definitely have some least faves. Let's just say that. Hey guys, it's me, present day Kyle, interrupting past Kyle to answer this question. Since you were told you couldn't tell anyone about the secret session until after, did you ever break that promise or come close to breaking it? I, of course, knew that there were people I could tell and the secret would be safe. The whole thing is that you can't leak this information out to other fans or out to media or anything like that. That's really the security risk. So I knew that, you know, there were friends that I could tell and there was family that I could tell, but I chose not to because this was a really big deal to me. So I wanted to be respectful and I wanted to do what I was told. I'm not a rule breaker, or I try not to be at least, because I get a lot of anxiety about being in trouble and I don't like to do the wrong thing. And that's not in a way of me being like, look at me, my moral compass is so strong. I'm just like fucking terrified of any consequence ever. Like I can't be in a stressful situation, I'll pass out. I also decided not to tell anyone because I thought it would be like a ridiculously good surprise. And it actually was a pretty fucking ridiculously good surprise. I didn't really come close to breaking it. I was pretty good. It wasn't like one of those things where I was like walking around, I was like, I need to tell people. I was just not believing it myself. You know what I mean? So I was like, I need to deal with this before I can go talk to other people about this. I didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew that I was going except for my parents, and I kind of preferred it that way. So when I came home and my roommates were in the house and I just handed them a Polaroid and they looked at it for like 2 minutes before it even registered, it was kind of a good moment. Everybody knew this was a huge deal to me. This was a dream come true. So it was kind of exciting to surprise everybody with it afterwards. The only thing that I did was I tweeted lyrics that were suggestive. And suggestive, not sexually, although maybe, but suggestive in the way that like good things were coming my way. I tweeted lyrics from Sweeter Than Fiction, which is a very underrated song. A lot of people don't even acknowledge its existence. You should go listen to it right now. So this one is, was it more for publicity or did she actually spend time with you all? Listen, like it would be stupid to try and claim like the secret sessions don't have an angle that's for publicity, of course. But did she actually spend time with us? Like 100%. People do stuff for publicity all the time. And you can do a lot of terrible, stupid, dumb shit for publicity. If Taylor Swift decides to open her home to her most dedicated fans and bring them in and bake them cookies and sit with them and meet every single one of them one-on-one and talk to them like human beings. So yeah, even though there's a publicity aspect of this and you're definitely encouraged to go talk about the album and everything like that, it's not just some fake thing where it was very impersonal and it was like, come in, we'll just like take a picture and you can leave and now go promote me. It was one of the coolest experiences of my life. So yes, there's a publicity aspect, but she definitely spent a lot of time with us and she made it very worthwhile. So this question is, did each person get a chance to ask Taylor a question? And if so, what did you ask her? And then there's another question that said, how long did you get to talk to her one-on-one? Each person got a chance to meet Taylor Swift one-on-one. And it was the perfect scenario. They weren't trying to really, really rush you along. You weren't in a crowd of people screaming and throwing things in her face. It was just like, I stood at a doorway. They were like, it's your turn. I walked in and Taylor was there and it was us. There were some people far away. They weren't like encroaching in your space. And I got to just stand there and we looked at each other and we talked. We had a conversation. You had the ability to make it whatever you wanted it to be. I can tell you that I went in there. She kind of did this weird thing I can only describe as Taylor Swiftie. She like contorted her body and like was like excited and she gave me a hug. I was like, hi. But I was wearing a flannel that I had gotten for Christmas the year before from LL Bean. And it was, you know, pretty soft. And so after she hugged me, she like rubbed my shoulder and she was like, this is so soft. And then we just went on a fucking LL Bean tangent, which is like not exactly what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? She's like, I've been looking for something kind of like this for my dad and my brother for Christmas. You know, Christmas is coming up. And I was like, well, like, I was like, it's a great shirt. I like became an LL Bean fucking salesman. I was like working the floor. I was like, you got LL Bean. I was like, durable. comfortable. Look at that. It was too fucking much. And I was like, I got it from the catalog, which I don't even think I did. I just remember my mom being like, anything? And I was like, that shirt looks cool. And then Taylor was like, well, like, I'm going to be like pretty busy. I'm going to be on the road. She was like, can you just like get it in store? And I was like, probably. Like, I'm not even kidding. We went back and forth about this damn shirt. Like, our whole conversation was about this fucking flannel. I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're going to be busy. I was like, I'm sure you can get it not from the catalog too. Too damn much. But then after that, I was just like, the album is so good. Thank you so much for having me here. Kind of like went into my thoughts about the album, and she was very gracious and very thankful that I was, you know, saying such nice things about the future Grammy-winning album of the year. And then I had mentioned that I had seen her at the Rain show at Gillette Stadium, which we talked about in my last video. But she got really excited about that. She was like, the Rain show, and she like kind of like did a Taylor Swift like, she was like jumping around a little bit. She was like, there's so many people here from the Rain show. And I was like, I know. I was like, there's something about you. I was like, there's something about us and Rain. I was like, it rains every time that I see you. And I was like, there's no reason for me to do this. But I was like, it rained at the Rain show. I was like, it rained at the Red tour. I was like, it's raining tonight. And I was like, and then she was just like, yeah. It's really cool. Then like I had that moment where there was like a lull in conversation. And I was just like, I'm talking to Taylor Swift. This is everything that you wanted for a very, very long time. And it's happening in front of you. Don't fuck it up. And then I just went blank. I was just like, and I was like, sorry. I was like, I had so much to say, and I'm like forgetting it all. And she was like, you're doing a great job. She was like really patting me on the back. She's like, no, you're doing good. I swear. I'm like, really, Taylor? Then she brought up the flannel again. She's like the shirt thing. She's like, I'm really going to do that, you know? And I was like, sick. And then, you know, I wanted to get it like a little bit deep. So I just like, I thanked her for, I was like, you've made me so happy. I was like, you've really given me such happy moments in my life. And it means so much to me, all this stuff. And she was just like, thank you for saying that. Like, I'm so happy that I could do that for you. And I was like, yeah, you're the fucking best. Then it came time to take our picture. So at the 1989 secret session, we got Polaroids. So the album cover is a Polaroid. So it was very on theme. So it was time to take our picture together. Leading up, I was like, what is our picture going to be? And there was a moment in my mind where I was like, imagine if I like picked her up. I was never going to say that. I was never going to bring that up. I was like, I don't need anything crazy. We'll just stand there and smile. I just want a good picture, basically. So she was like, have you thought about what you want to do for your picture? And I was like, honestly, I was like, I'm not sure. And she was like, all right. You know, she was pretty good. She does this a lot. So she was looking around. She was like, well, you could hold a Grammy. Or she kind of like eyed me up and down. And I was like, what's going on? But she was like, or she was like, you look like you're pretty strong. She was like, you could hold me. And I was just like, yeah. I was like, yeah, let's do it. She was like, I will tell you though. She's like, I'm heavier than I look. And I was like, okay. And then she just fucking, she put her arm here. I leapt up and I just like caught her and I was just holding her. We took our picture. And I put her down and she turned to the girl who was taking the picture and she was like, I think we got ass in that. And I was like, and mind you, this is before Taylor Swift ever publicly swore. Now, like, all of her CDs are explicit and she's like, fuck, shit. But like at this point, we really couldn't get anything out of her. The most we ever got was like her at the VMAs, a cutaway saying shut the fuck up, and then me on Tumblr spearheading a campaign that said she said sorry for the arm. Like back in the day, we were like, she doesn't swear. Not that ass is like some big swear, but I was just like taken aback for a second. I was like, oh shit, she means like ass. Like her ass is in it. Then her photographer's like, don't worry, I cropped. And then I apologized. My first instinct was just like apologize. I was like, I'm sorry. And she was like, no, she was like, I should just wear longer skirts. And I was like, no. And then the last thing I said was just like, the first time I ever saw you, you were opening for Rascal Flatts. And it's been one of the coolest things in my life to see the journey that she's been on, to see her growth as an artist and as a person and what it meant to me. Yeah, it was just a really cool moment to be able to say those things. And like, even though it wasn't a perfect conversation and there's so much I wish I could have said, it was still a really, really cool moment. And I appreciated that a lot. And I'll never forget it, honestly. This one is, do you think she'll ever do secret sessions again? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Some people think she might do them for midnights. I'm not too confident about that. So after I went to the secret sessions, I said, there's no way she'll ever do this again. Then she did them for Reputation. And I was like, just kidding. It was fine. She did it at Lover I think that was a different vibe. I wouldn't have wanted to go to the Lover Secret sessions, to be honest. It just did not seem like it. I think it's a lot for her. I think it's a lot to make these things happen. Now that we've had COVID and there's been some years that have passed since the last one, I could see it going either way. I could see her doing it again 100%, or I could see her just like putting that in the past. But what I do know is that no matter what she decides to do, she's always going to come up with new, inventive, fun experiences to connect with the fans and for the fans to connect with her. And I appreciate that so much. All right, well, that was it. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. Really could not do this without you. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned a little bit more about secret sessions, what they are. I hope I answered every question that you were dying to know about my experience, about the 1989 secret sessions, about secret sessions in general. All in all, it was one of the coolest moments of my life, one of the best times that I've ever had. It was something I felt like I was really working hard towards, just being a Taylor Swift fan. It sort of felt like everything led to this moment, and it was fucking awesome and perfect. And I cherish it very, very much. And I look forward to the next time maybe I get to meet Taylor Swift. If you have any other questions, you can comment them. I'm happy to answer them. And I look forward to seeing you in my next one. Thank you so much for being here. I know that this one was probably a little bit long, so I appreciate you for holding on. You're the best. Thank you so much. I feel like if I'm going to put a video on YouTube, I need to be like, comment, subscribe, smash that fucking like button. But for real, if you wouldn't mind. And I hope to see you at the next one. Thank you again. Appreciate it. Love you. Peace.